and I've nowhere to run. He's the fortress that stands till the battle is won. The wind's picking up through the tall yellow grass. I'm watching the clouds and the shadows that pass. My spirit is brittle, my heart's feeling thin, and I'm wondering how to let hope back in. I look to the hill where the old cedar stands, and I remember I'm held in the Savior's own hands. He's the fortress in the field when the thunder rolls near, the quiet refuge that swallows my fear. Built on the rock that no flood can wash down, the only safe place in this whole weary town. The walls of His mercy are ancient and strong. He's been my shelter for all of my long. I don't have to fight and I don't have to hide when the King of the ages is right by my side. The screen door may rattle, the windows may shake, but there isn't a promise the Lord's gonna break. I'm stepping inside from the rain and the cold, leaving the worries that made me feel old. From the chaos of life to the peace of His grace, I finally found my abiding place. Safe in the fortress, resting in Him. He mends every tear that the world left behind, and gives a sweet rest to a weary, worn mind. The screen door is sagging, letting the flies, like the doubt that's been clouded behind my own eyes. The hinges are rusted, the wood's getting gray, just like the spirit I've carried today. I'm sitting here thinking of all that is broke under the weight of a heavy world yoke. But he's mending the screen door, he's fixing the soul, he's taking the pieces and making them whole. With a hammer of mercy and nails of pure grace, he's restoring the peace in this hallowed out place. He walks through the kitchen and sits at the board. My Savior, my healer, my master and Lord. He sees every tear and he knows every gap. The maps that I followed that led to a trap. He's sanding the edges of my roughest years and washing the dust with the softest of tears. I'm handing him tools I've been trying to use, the pride and the anger, I've nothing to lose. I'm letting him work while I finally sit still, trust in his hand and surrender in my will. It's quiet again. He's mending my soul. I've been driving in circles in the dark of the night till I gave him the wheel and he showed me the light. The road is a ribbon of gravel and grit, and I'm tired of trying to make sense of it. My hands are all cramped from the grip and the strain, looking for exits in the middle of rain. I've been the captain, the boss, and the guide, but I'm empty and lonely on this long, bitter ride. Put the master's hand on the wheel of my cut through the worry and steer through the strife. I'm moving over to the passenger side to let the great shepherd become my own guide. The headlights are reaching for things I can't see, but he knows the path that was laid out for me. Through the valleys of shadow and over the steep, he's the one promise that I'm gonna keep. I'm breathing out deep as the tension lets go, finding a peace that I used to not know. I'm letting go of the map and the plan, placing my trust in a nail-scarred hand. The destination is finally clear when the voice in the silence is all that I hear. Just a passenger now, and the peace is so when you jump in the river that makes a man whole. I walk down the path where the willow trees weep, to the edge of the water of Restoration Creek. I'm covered in dust from the miles I've walked, and the voices of failure that whispered and talked. The world says I'm finished, the world says I'm through, but the water is calling and making things new. Oh, wash me in the creek where the mercy runs deep, and the promises made are the promises kept. It's a restoration flow for a heart that is dry, under the light of a grace-filled sky. I stepped in the water and felt the cool sting of the healing and power that only He brings. The shame of the yesterdays washed off my skin as the life of the Spirit is rising within. The current is steady, the current is strong, it's carrying away everything I did wrong. I'm coming up clean, I'm coming up right, leaving the darkness and walking in light. The creek is a sanctuary, the water is alive. The end of the struggle and the end of the strife. Restored by the water, Restoration Creek. There's a Bible left open on the wood of the table, reminding my heart that the Savior is able. Coffee is cold and the morning is gray, and I'm struggling to find any words I can pray. The bills are all stacked and the house is so quiet. My mind is a motor, a world-weary riot. But there in the center on the scarred up oak wood is the book that has stood where the saints always stood. It's kitchen table grace in the early daylight, the strength that I need to go finish the fight. A refuge of ink and a fortress of word, where the cry of the humble is always being heard. Is always being heard. I read about the lilies and I read about the birds, and the peace starts to settle in the truth of the words. He sees every sparrow and He sees every me, the person I am and the one I should be. The kitchen is glowing with the light not of sun, as I realize the battle is already won. I'm laying my head on the pages of gold, finding a courage that never grows old. The table is an altar, the kitchen a pew, as the Spirit of God makes my spirit feel new. Grace at the table, it's all that I need. clock on the wall says it's taking too long, but the Lord's in the silence, making you strong. I've been planted in dirt, and I'm waiting for rain, feeling the pull of the time and the strain. I've asked for the answer 1,000 times, oh, while I'm pacing the wood of this old kitchen floor. The silence is heavy, the silence is deep, and it feels like the promises went off to sleep. But there's strength in the waiting and power in the pause. Trust in the Master and trust in His laws. He's working in secret where I cannot see, building a bridge for the future of me. The seed doesn't shout when it's breaking the ground, and the greatest of mercies don't make any sound. The waiting is holy, the waiting is rest, a time for the heart to be put to the test. So I'll sit on the porch and I'll watch for the dawn, knowing the shadows are almost all gone. He's never a second too early or late. There's a beautiful blessing for those who can wait. I'm trading my hurry for a peace that is still, resting my soul in the center of His will. Still waiting, still trusting, still strong.
When the sun is too hot and the road is too wide, I'm finding the shadow where I can go hide. The heat of the trial is burning my skin, and I'm losing the spirit to go try again. The road is all dust and there's no shade in sight, and I'm weary of walking and weary of fight. But then I remember the song that I know about where a tired out pilgrim can go. I'm under the shadow of the Almighty King, finding the rest that His promises bring. A canopy made out of mercy and love, stretched out from the heavens and the Father above. It's cooler than water deeper than sleep. A secret place, a refuge, where he guards his sheep. The arrows can fly and the terrors can roar, but they can't get past the Almighty's own door. I'm folding my hands and I'm closing my eyes as the peace of the sanctuary starts to arise. He's a fortress, a buckler, a shield, and a weed. The reason my soul has a reason to sing. I'm safe in the shade while the world burns away, finding my strength for the rest of the day. In his shadow I'm finally at rest.
The world is the engine that won't stop its roar till I leave all my worries outside of the door. My mind is a motor that's running on high, with a million what ifs in a dark, cloudy sky. I'm fixing the problems that haven't occurred, while the voice of my Savior is barely being heard. Revving the engine and wasting the fuel, forgetting that mercy is the goldenest rule. Quiet my motor mind, Lord, bring it to rest. Let me lay down my head on your heavenly breast. Trade the noise for the stillness, the rush for the peace, and watch as the tensions of this old world cease. The stillness is where I can finally hear the whisper that tells me there's nothing to fear. The gears are all slowing, the oil is all calm, as the Spirit of God pours His healing balm. I don't have to solve it, I don't have to know, I just have to sit here and let the Lord grow. Be still and know, let the world spin away. There's enough of His grace for the rest of today. I'm unplugging the worry and turning off pride, taking a rest on the inside. so quiet, so peaceful, so still. The fire was hot and the house burned down low, but that's just where the roses are starting to grow. I'm looking at ruins, the things I once held, at the trees of my pride that the lightning has felled. It's gray and it's cold and it's dusty and dark, and I'm looking for just one small heavenly spark. I thought it was over, I thought I was done, under the heat of a merciless sun. But he's bringing the beauty right out of the ash, healing the wound and the heartbreaking gash. A garden of grace where the desert once stood, turning the bad into something for good. One day at a time, what the enemy intended to break and destroy, the Lord is now turning to a permanent joy. The oil of gladness is soaking the ground, and the peace that I lost has finally been found. Don't fear the fire and don't fear the flame, the refiner is calling you out by your name. You're coming out gold, you're coming out bright, a beautiful sanctuary built of the light. Beauty for ashes, restoration is here. The journey was long and the road was so steep, but the shepherd has come for his tired out sheep. I see the old gate at the end of the lane, past the valley of tears, in the forest of pain. The wood is all weathered, but the latch is all gold, and the welcome inside never ever grows old. I'm dropping my bags and I'm wiping my brow, knowing I'm home and I'm safe here and now. Through the sanctuary gate to the peace of his face, finding my rest in this hallowed out place. No more of the wandering, no more of the fear, now that the spirit of healing is here. The table is spread, candles are lit, and there's a chair by the fire where I'm gonna sit. He's pouring the water and he's breaking the bread as he puts all the sorries and shames all to bed. The collection is over, the music is done, but the life of the Spirit has only begun. Enter his gates with a song and a prayer. Leave every heavy and world-weary care. You're home in the fortress, you're home in the fold, part of a story that's just being told. Resting in the sanctuary,